information and talk to each other a little bit as well, right? And so all of us in then had these strategy sessions, the first one being in Oakland, California in 2003, and that's when the movement began. That's when all of us in, whoo! That one got me. So that's when the movement began. And in these meetings, there was another one that happened. It was an exploratory committee that was in New Orleans in March of 2003. At the end of March of 2003, there was another one in New Orleans called the Critical Resistance Conference. And these were all conferences, once again, to build all of us in a structure. There's in the appendix of your workbook, so paper put to the back of it, was the 14-point platform for all of us in that. That kind of sounds reminiscent to anybody familiar with the Black Panthers? Yep. This definitely isn't a Black Panther meeting, but they had a platform, right? A 10-point platform where they went through the things that they really believed in and they held strong to. And so that's what the idea of that platform is, that 14-point platform for the formerly incarcerated convicted people. That's in your notebook so you can go home and go over it, look at those ideas and see if this is really something that you believe in, and so you can, of course, help and join in the movement. But that platform is available for you to go over. So those ideas were constructed at these meetings. You can go to the next slide. So I talked about this a little bit, but just so the meeting in New Orleans, the outcomes were, of course, to move forward in the organizing strategy so that we can move all of us nationally. So when it started off, it was an Oakland thing, right? And we know Oakland is historically a birthplace for resistance, right? Yep. I went for the first time at the beginning of September. We had the first national conference for formerly incarcerated people and families and our allies in Oakland, and it was just, I'm telling you, I was like hungover from this event for like 2 weeks after. Seriously, just being there, the energy of like 800 people who care about this movement. I'm talking about, we had people from Kentucky, Florida, New York, DC, just all over the place. Flew in, we flew up, from Southern California, and we just vibed it out. And we talked about serious issues that we're facing, and we talked about the, how we're moving to change those things in our respective communities and the power. And I'm telling you, just make sure you are at the next convention, because it will be an annual thing. And I think there's going to be more consistent regional conferences, but it's a wonderful thing when we come together and make sure we're all on the same page in the movement, right? So Oakland is where it started, but it spread down. New Orleans caught a piece in the beginning. Next slide, please. And then California. So a lot of the initial organizing for this movement started in California, and they were called Peace and Justice Community Summits. And the goal of these summits were to identify formerly incarcerated people's #1 priority concerning the restoration of our human and civil rights, right? Because that's the whole organizing effort, to have our human and civil rights completely restored, right? So when you're incarcerated or when you're being punished for wrongdoing, my understanding, and I think that a lot of folks who are reasonable and rational can agree with, is that you lose privileges, right? You should lose privileges when you do things wrong. But nobody has the right to strip you of the rights that you were born with, right? Your human rights are yours, and no person on this earth has the right to take away your human rights. Nobody has the right to take away your civil rights, right? These are things that we were born with and that we should keep. Privileges, okay. If I did a little something that I shouldn't have did, maybe snatch a little privileges, teach me a lesson, help me get better so that I don't do that again, but never take rights, okay? Right, and keep punishing you for the same thing. So the outcome, of course, the outcome we want here was to identify and eliminate discrimination based on criminal history as the #1 priority. Next slide, please. So after all these peace and justice summits, that's what was decided, that the #1 pressing issue for formerly incarcerated people was the denial of gainful opportunities because of that conviction. The pressure of that was just overwhelming, right, for formerly incarcerated people. And so this was the #1 campaign. So way back in 2003, there was a term that now you'll hear around today. The term is ban the box. That term was coined by all of us in 2003 when they decided that we were tired of being asked about our criminal history when we're going out, especially for jobs, right? among so many other things. When you want to be an entrepreneur and you're applying for licensing within the city and all these things, you're asked about your criminal history. And so sometimes it's like, I'm trying to bury my stuff. Why y'all gotta keep asking me about that? You know what I mean? You're trying to just move on with your lives, but this is an issue. And we're actually paused in our ability to move forward and upward when someone continues to ask us about a blemish in our past. So with that, I just wanted to welcome everyone. We're gonna take a break. I'll give us 10 minutes. Is that good? And so there's some refreshments over to my right. And of course the door's here, folks need to step out, but we'll come back at 7:05. And then we're going to jump into all the campaigns that all of us has been involved in.
So refreshments over here, restrooms are this way, and to your right, if anyone needs to use it. How are you?
gained some weight. You're so much better. So much better. Like that.